Hey guys, what's happening? This is Ryan Yokome, CEO of Money Miracles Breakthrough Coaching, and today I'm going to teach you how to have success as an introvert. And this is something I struggled with a long time. So if right now you have a business and you're really shy to talk to people about it, or maybe you kind of pull back and don't have the confidence to share your business with people, and you just feel that you get in a situation where you love your business, you can make an impact in people's lives, but you shrink yourself down, you hold back, and then you beat yourself up for not saying anything. That's an introvert, I know, because I did it for like 10 years of my business life and 31 years of my whole life. So I'm going to walk you guys through a really cool process that changed my life and business forever, because this is something I struggled for a long time. And it wasn't until I started to learn more about myself through this really cool process I'm gonna walk you through that I was like, holy shit, this is really neat. And I started to build my self-confidence, and that translated into making more money in business, creating more time freedom, and really stepping into doing what I love and having that confidence and certainty from a humble space within myself to know that I can lead people to where they want to get to and not run away and be afraid of being in that situation to help and serve people. So I'm going to be really open with you. I'm going to be very candid, meaning that I'm going to share stuff with you that I really haven't shared with many people outside of Chris and my girlfriend. And so I'm going to be like an open book. I'm going to share with you guys some stuff because I know it will make a difference in your life. So you definitely want to watch the whole video and take notes if you want to, but definitely really pay attention to what grabs you the most. And then I'm going to give you one tip that you can walk away with to apply into your life and business that will help you overcome the challenge of being an introvert. So I studied for a long time, so I wanted to understand, how do you overcome the challenge of being an introvert in business? Because in my line of work, when it comes to home-based business or coaching, it's like my face is all over the freaking internet. So it's like videos and photos, and it's very extroverted. People see me and they see this kinds of stuff. And so I was like, holy shit, how do I grow this as an internet to be the face of a company and to be the face of recruiting people into my business? So if you go and try and fix this yourself, this is what you're going to find. A lot of people are going to tell you to get yourselves into groups of people and socialize, and you'll build your confidence through hanging out with communities. Other people are going to tell you, identify, is this you being an introvert, or is this really your lack of self-confidence? And let's work on your self-confidence, right? I get it. A lot of things what people do is try and fix you and change you from the outside. They're going to try and create this new way, this paradigm shift in you to think externally, so that will perceive to solve your problem. Well, there's a gift, right? Like my line of work is about wholeness. So there's a gift in every single thing that we view as bad or negative. And in this case, it's being an introvert. So for 31 years or whatever years of my life, the majority of my life, I viewed being an introvert as a negative thing that would limit me. And so I went on this journey, right? Because I wanted to figure it out. And that's where you're at. If you're watching this video, the universe has lined this up for you. So I went on this journey and I'm like, why the F am I an introvert? And I didn't want to just fix it. I wanted to understand, why do I label myself as an introvert? So, as any young, smart man would do, I went on this journey to figure out this problem. And what I found is that as an adult, and this happens with all of us, there's often some kind of one significant moment when we're usually a child, typically the age 5, 6, or 7, where we make an experience mean something to us that actually affects us as adults if it goes unhealed and unprocessed. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm open. Let's go into the rabbit hole and let's see what we find down there. So I dove in and took a look and took a peek down there. And I really went into my unconscious through some great mentors and friends who taught me this process, which is actually what I help people with coaching. And what I found is, I was like, okay, well, what was my relationship with my parents like? What did they do when it came to being an introvert, extrovert, and when it came to business and success and risk-taking? And how is that affecting me? So this is what I came across. Long story short, this took like weeks to dive into. I remember when I was young, my parents owned a house that they sold. So they sold this house. Imagine this. They sell their house and they start an Amway business. Big in the 80s. So they start an Amway business. They sell their house so they can grow that business. They move 40 minutes into a house that they rent, and they take the equity out of their house and they reinvest it into growing their business. So back in the 80s, in network marketing, there was something called front-end loading. And front-end loading was essentially you buy thousands of dollars of products and you stock your house, and then you run your business out of your house, hence a home-based business. Now things have changed. We live in the internet age, everything's faster, it's quicker. Most people don't have a home-based business anymore, even though we call it that. They have a luxury travel business that they can work anywhere as long as they have a cell phone and a laptop. But back then in the 80s, they didn't. So I grew up in a household, I remember moving and being like 6, 7 years old-ish. And I remember seeing my parents' basement stocked from floor to ceiling with shelves and products everywhere. And this is what I saw. I saw them stressed out to grow their business. I saw them argue about money and business. I saw them frustrated, and I saw them in pain. And why? Because they were at the early stages of their business. Like, if you're growing your business right now and you're at the early stages, you're not making 6 figures or a full-time income, it's frustrating. It's hard work. You're confused and you're like, what the hell is going on? And I get it. And so that's the stage that they were at. But when you're a kid, like me as a little boy viewing this, I don't know how to process this. You're a kid. You don't know as an adult how to process what's going on. So what happens is we see events and we internalize them. And we make the event mean something about us, which I'll explain in a minute. Hope you're following me on this. So here I am. I walk into the kitchen one day. This is a significant moment for me. I walk into the kitchen. My mom is standing there with her hands on the kitchen counter, and I can feel that she's sad. I can feel she's upset and she's frustrated. And I look over to the other side and I see my dad, who is pacing. My dad is pissed and he's angry and he's throwing pens around and he's frustrated and I don't know what he's mad about, and they're arguing. And I remember thinking, wow, this is not good. And they're arguing about business, right? They're arguing about not having enough money. And they've done all these things and they're not having the success that they want. So now they're frustrated and now they're arguing with each other. So here I am, I walk in the kitchen, I'm like this 6-ish-year-old boy. And I can remember my mom saying that she was gonna grab my siblings, which are my 2 older sisters, Kristen and Elizabeth. She was gonna grab the 3 of us and leave the house because she didn't want us to be around my father when she was upset like this. And so when I saw these experiences happening, you know, here I am, I can remember it like sitting right here. I can see everything very, very clear. And I'm sure you can think back to a moment in your life where you had the same thing growing up, maybe a little bit different. So I internalized these experiences, and this is what I made it mean. I made it mean that success is hard work. Success causes arguments. If you start your own business, you're going to be stressed out. If you start your own business and you struggle to make money, it's going to cause you an extreme amount of pain. You're probably going to be in arguments all the frickin' time, and you're probably not going to get to ultimately where you want to go. And so what did I do? I internalized that, and I meant that, wow, this is probably my fault. This is probably something that I may have done, that I should have been nicer, I should have been better, and I internalized it as, why are they arguing? They shouldn't be arguing, and why aren't they just happy? And so I made it mean something about me, and what I realized is the only way for me to protect myself was I became an introvert. And the only way for me to protect my parents from not arguing, getting hurt, was to not express what I wanted to say to them because it might hurt them, seeing them argue back and forth between each other. So that young age, like 6-ish, I was like, I'm going to internalize all this. I'm an introvert. I'm going to hide. I'm not going to show my face. And, you know, that's going to help me avoid the pain. So some deep, deep shit, right? So I go through this process. And I'm feeling all these emotions. And what I want to remind you guys is, mom and dad, if you're watching this, I love you guys. And, you know, I was raised in such an incredible household. My parents raised me in a great state, and they gave us so much, and there was always food on the table and always toys, and they did so much for us. But what happens is, at that age, is you don't know how to process, like, what the F is going on, because you're a kid. And so it could have just been that one significant moment where I saw them arguing, or I saw them struggling because they were launching a business. It's a part of business. But I didn't know what that meant. As an adult, I can understand. And so you make things mean something about you, and then you become the introvert, because then this helps you hide, so you don't have to cause pain to anyone, and no one can cause pain to you. Follow me? I hope so. So anyways, long story short, they did go on to build a very successful business. You know, huge organization, did really well in Amway. And you know, that was their starting point. That was when they were struggling. They were like just getting going. And so I was in that process of learning about that. So here's what I did, is because I internalized that process of business is bad and successful people argue and fight, I basically made that anything to do about success is negative. And so when I was growing up, one of the things I struggled with was voicing my opinion, and I would get sore throats like all the time. In fact, my mom used to bring me like a couple times a month to go and get medicine to get my sore throat fixed, because it'd be like inflamed and burning and all that stuff. And so what that is, this is a metaphor, and it's a metaphor of not expressing your voice, not sharing what you feel inside to others. And the reason I wouldn't is because underlying all of those emotions was a feeling that if I did, I could cause pain to other people or to myself. So I just didn't say anything. But whatever you resist persists. So I was resisting expressing my opinions, and it was causing me to get sick. So this went on for like a long time, like all through my, you know, kid age into the teens and all that stuff. And then what happened is in my 20s, I'm like, I'm gonna become an entrepreneur and rock this shit. Like, we're gonna grow a business. Through my 20s to 30s, I failed at every single thing I touched. Every single thing. I did three different network marketing companies. I did investing. I did construction, and I couldn't get ahead. And so maybe like you, I had all the goals. I had the big dreams and desires, but something kept sabotaging me. And so we always have an underlying commitment to something else, meaning that we all have the vision to achieve time freedom and success with our lives and significance, creating a business around what we love. But then the underlying commitment is not to the goal. The underlying commitment is to avoid the pain I was feeling growing up as a kid, that success is bad, money is the root of arguments, you know, entrepreneurship equals pain, arguments and stress and frustration. So who's gonna wanna do that, right? So of course, I suppressed that. That was my underlying commitment. I made that my belief system. So no matter what I did consciously with taking action, I would always sabotage myself. I would always be afraid to talk to people about my business. I would always be in fear of voicing my opinion and having a strong point of view. And that became my underlying commitment. And it wasn't until I really became aware of what's happening in my psyche? What is going on to make me believe that I'm an introvert? And really going in to reframe that situation and change the lens in which I was viewing the past, that's when things started growing my business. That's when I started to change as a person within my own life and started to build a better relationship with my mother and father than I ever have before. So it's a beautiful process, but it really takes diving into going past the, oh, I'm an extrovert, this is why I can't grow my business, to really diving into, hey, why do you identify yourself as, or an introvert, sorry, why do you identify yourself as an introvert? So I hope you guys take that story to heed. It's a deep process, but it works. It's beautiful. So here's my tip for you guys. This was my #1 thing that changed my life and business. Speak your truth. Speak your truth. So every single time that you find yourself with that little voice when you're in an environment and you have this opportunity to share the business that you love the products, you love the service, you want to share it with people, but that little voice is like, don't do it, don't share it, or you're insecure, do it. Just share it. just speak your voice. Speak your voice. Get used to start sharing that with inside yourself that you know you want to tell people about. That's where your power is. That's where your self-confidence is. That's where you absolutely rock your business. And the process is obviously a little bit of a deeper process, and that's where I coach people one-on-one with. So we really go into that process. Some people kind of like go toe in the water rabbit hole. Some people kind of like jump in, and other people like cannonball. Let's go into this stuff. It took me 31 years to have the courage to go into this part of myself. Everyone is in a different process. But that's one thing that I do with the one-on-one coaching is I really walk people through with the Money and Miracles Breakthrough Coaching of like, hey, let's go into this and let's heal and be aware of those parts of ourselves and then find the gift within them to embrace that's going to help grow your business and make a bigger difference. So my one tip for you guys today is you've got to go out there and you have got to start voicing your truth. The best way you can do that is every time that you find throughout the rest of this day and the rest of this week, you have an opportunity to share your business. And that little voice goes, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You're crazy. Don't do it, you're crazy. Don't do it. Just do it. Just share it. Just say, hey, thanks. I recognize that's going on and that's a piece of me. And let me just express who I really am and share what I really feel about my business. So that is my tip for you guys today as an introvert. If you want to go further, obviously we can rock some one-on-one coaching. You can click on the tab above and you can find it there, or just go to my website. And that's all I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoy that. I would love to hear your story, what came up for you down in the comments section down below. And there's like, I did a lot of calls over this last 2 to 3 weeks with people, and the common thing I heard with many of you is you feel you're an introvert. So if you feel, I would love to know like what you feel is stopping you, what you personally feel, because that's my story, right? We're all different. So comment down below in the comment section, the Facebook comment section. Let me know. Make sure to subscribe to my blog and my newsletter, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Money and Miracles TV. Talk to you soon.